In New Orleans, the ship Genesis arrives at the docks with a cargo of unknown origin, soon to be dispersed throughout the city. Meanwhile, Biggie gathers a group of dealers, including Newt, to introduce them to the latest drug, power. This new substance grants users temporary special abilities, given freely by Biggie with permission to sell at any price. Elsewhere, Robin sneaks out to sell power on the streets but is confronted by 3 teenage boys who attempt to rob her. A scuffle breaks out, interrupted by Officer Frank, who intervenes with a stern warning about the dangers of power. Despite arresting Robin initially, Frank reveals his friendship by buying power from her and even giving her a birthday gift. The next day, Art ventures into the slums to confront Newt, who guards a stash of power with a ferocious alligator. After a tense standoff, Art coerces information about power's origin from Newt, leading to a deadly confrontation. Meanwhile, Robin juggles her street activities with caring for her sick mother and facing challenges at school where she daydreams of rebelling through her rap talent. Frank tackles a superpowered criminal in another part of the city during a bank heist, escalating the city's power-fueled chaos. As tensions mount, Art awaits Robin at their usual meeting place, setting the stage for their paths to intertwine amidst the escalating crisis surrounding power. Suddenly, Art grabs Robin and forcefully places her in the trunk of his truck, driving her to a remote location. He threatens to harm Irene unless Robin cooperates. Reluctantly, she agrees, and Art releases her, demanding information. Robin confesses she obtained power from Newt but claims ignorance about anything else. Art shows her a photo of a woman and a bald man, but she doesn't recognize them. During their conversation, Robin discreetly sends a text to Frank for help, prompting Art to confiscate her phone. He directs her to call a number found on Newt's phone, pretending to be a distressed dealer. The person on the line instructs Robin to go to a specific supermarket and ask for alligator wine. At the supermarket, while Robin asks for the specified item, Art gets distracted by another customer, losing track of her. Robin is taken to meet a man named Quayo in the back of the store. Instead of following Art's instructions to inquire about power's source, she warns Quayo about Art waiting outside. Quayo consumes power and confronts Art, who threatens him with scissors. Art's henchmen come to his aid, but Art proves to be a skilled fighter, defeating them without much effort. Unbeknownst to Robin, the office she's in is inside a moving truck, and she's trapped when the door locks. After dealing with all the henchmen, Art checks on Robin, allowing Quayo to surprise him with a gunshot. Art is injured but continues fighting, eventually killing Quayo. He then opens the door to the truck to rescue Robin but starts hallucinating, mistaking Robin momentarily for his daughter, Tracy. Robin's voice brings him back, and they find another door leading to a hidden computer room with monitors tracking power's users. Art realizes the distributor is using locals as unwitting test subjects by distributing power for free. They discover a notification about an upcoming presentation in 2 hours. Meanwhile, Quayo expels the bullets from his body due to power's effects. While Art is distracted by the monitors, Robin escapes into the supermarket seeking help, but Quayo finds her and attacks. Art intervenes, fighting Quayo until power's effects were off, causing Quayo's demise. Robin tries to escape but finds the doors locked, using a brick to break free. Touched by Art's desperation and revelation about his daughter, Robin helps him as they find themselves in a veterinarian's office. Once Art recovers, he heads to the anticipated event, with Robin insisting on joining by taking the car keys. Meanwhile, Frank grows increasingly concerned about Robin and visits her home, overhearing police officers harassing Irene. Frank stealthily enters the house through a window, changing clothes to appear as if he's Irene's lover arriving to defend her. He whispers to her that he's a friend of Robin's before confronting the police officers, demanding to see their badges and a warrant for their cameras. Startled by his assertiveness, the officers promptly leave. Frank swiftly follows them, using tape to discreetly attach a phone to their vehicle for tracking purposes. On their way to their destination, Art divulges his past as a soldier subjected to experiments involving power by a corporation called Telios. He recounts a chilling incident where power nearly killed him and his fellow soldiers. After leaving the military, Art tried to lead a normal life, but the revelation that his daughter Tracy inherited permanent powers due to his exposure led Telios to attempt to capture her. A pursuit ensued, culminating in a tragic car crash where Tracy was abducted, leaving Art devastated and unable to move. As Art shares his traumatic story, memories blend with reality, momentarily affecting his driving until Robin intervenes, preventing a potential accident. Arriving at the presentation venue, Art instructs Robin to wait outside while he takes matters into his own hands. Inside, he overpowers a guard and infiltrates the event by assuming the guard's identity, uncovering a Telios card amidst the documents. During the presentation, Biggie pitches power to a South American cartel leader, framing it as the next leap in human evolution. Demonstrating its potency, he invites a woman to consume power, showcasing her newfound ability to manipulate her body temperature. Meanwhile, outside, Frank encounters Robin, attempting to convince her that Art is linked to power, though she remains skeptical. Inside the presentation, Art covertly approaches Biggie with a concealed gun, but Biggie recognizes him. Attempting to assert control, Art's efforts are interrupted by an employee's discovery of a body, prompting Art to seize him as a hostage. Chaos ensues as gunfire erupts between Biggie's associates and the cartel's operatives, escalating when a dose of power causes one man to explode. Hi movie buffs, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, share, and bell button. It's free and it really helps. You'll be notified of each new recap. Amidst the escalating conflict, Art joins the fray, engaging in combat as casualties mount on both sides. With the cartel leader's bodyguards shielding her for escape and Biggie attempting to flee, the situation descends into further chaos, exacerbated when Biggie drops his tablet, intensifying the volatile standoff. The malfunctioning tank causes the woman to lose control of her powers, screaming in pain while her boyfriend tries in vain to break her free. Art subdues the boyfriend as Biggie evades him. Eventually, the frost from the woman's powers spreads, freezing her to death. Art seizes Biggie, demanding answers, but an employee interrupts and a brawl ensues. Art incapacitates the employee with her taser and resumes interrogating Biggie. He shoots off Biggie's fingers and shows him a photograph, prompting Biggie to reveal that the individuals in the picture are Dr. Gardner, head of the project, and her bodyguard Wallace, who abducted Tracy. They are aboard the Genesis, the ship central to the entire operation. Meanwhile, Frank sneaks in and attempts to arrest Art, but Art quickly disarms him. Their argument over Robin is cut short when Biggie takes a dose of power and transforms into a monstrous entity, causing chaos. Bullets do not affect Biggie, prompting Art and Frank to escape through a back corridor. Art releases gas canisters as they flee, causing a massive explosion that kills Biggie and sends shockwaves through the street. Afterward, Frank arrests Art, telling Robin to go home despite her protests. While riding her bike, Robin spots Wallace among the police and recognizes him from Art's photograph, prompting her to follow him. Frank learns from Art that his captain, influenced by Telios, will divert him elsewhere instead of to the precinct. Realizing the stakes involved with Telios using his daughter as a power source, Frank agrees to collaborate with Art. As Telios' men surround their vehicle, Frank evades them. Art is taken to Genesis where he confronts Gardner, who experimented on him in the army. Meanwhile, Robin, nearby, is given a special earbud by Frank to monitor the situation. Frank uses power to approach a guard, who shoots him but inadvertently leaves the door open, believing Frank to be dead. Frank recovers quickly and infiltrates the ship, knocking out the guard. Concerned by the severed connection with Frank, Robin sneaks aboard and hides in a van loaded onto the ship. Inside the control room, Robin discovers Frank incapacitating unconscious workers. She aids him by operating the ship's systems, allowing Frank to navigate toward Art. Alarms sound as Wallace, empowered by power, attempts to breach the doors. Robin distracts herself upon seeing Tracy on the monitors, enabling a powered guard to discover Frank. A fight ensues, with Frank unable to harm the rubbery guard until Robin directs him through the speakers. Wallace pursues Robin, eventually breaking through a door she managed to seal. Frank engages in a struggle with the rubbery guard, losing the earbud again. Robin, through the ship's speakers, guides Frank until Wallace finds her and attempts to break into her location. Frank breaks free from the guard's hold, trapping his arm in a door that will break when the power wears off. Wallace eventually breaches Robin's location, but she escapes through an emergency hatch as the ship departs. Meanwhile, Art reveals he had concealed a dose of power in his mouth and persuades a guard to release him. Wallace and Frank converge on Art, with Wallace assaulting Frank before turning to Art. Frank passes his gun to Art, who fatally shoots Wallace. Robin navigates the lab area, subduing a guard from behind as she continues her search. She then retrieves his keycard, granting her access to the lab rooms where she discovers Tracy and notices the scars from the experiments on her body. Initially wary, Tracy quickly becomes elated upon hearing her father is present. Suddenly, Gardner appears searching for Tracy, but the girls manage to hide under a hatch just in time. They flee, and on their way out, a random plant inexplicably thrives when Tracy touches it. They soon reach the deck and reunite with Frank and Art, the latter finally embracing his daughter. The group attempts to navigate through the containers but encounters a guard who can weaponize his bones. A fight ensues, during which the guard shatters Art's weapon with his bone projections. Art grabs a metal rod for defense. Frank tries to lead the girls to the lifeboat, shielding them from gunfire with his body. However, seeing Art in danger, Robin returns to help. She uses a hook to incapacitate the guard, enabling Art to fatally wound him with his bones. Afterward, Art rushes to the lifeboat to reunite with the others, but Robin is captured by the guards and Gardner demands Tracy in exchange for Robin's life. Art then consumes power, gaining the ability of a pistol shrimp. This enables him to vaporize the water around him and unleash scorching shock waves that swiftly eliminate all the henchmen. Robin narrowly avoids the chaos just in time as collapsing containers and a falling crane crush Gardner. Overwhelmed by the immense power surge, Art collapses, his body unable to handle the strain, facing imminent death. However, Tracy immediately rushes to his side and heals him with her powers. Now able to do so, the group boards the lifeboat and successfully escapes. Later on, Art informs Frank that he's leaving with Tracy to start a new life. Frank plans to take the story to a journalist to expose the corruption within the force, while Robin returns to her mother, promising to care for her with the money Art has given her as a token of gratitude. Thanks for watching. If there's anything you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe.